Good morning, friends, family, and fellow Fibro warriors. Today is a beautiful day. The sun is shining. Hopefully it warms up a little. It's a little on the cooler side today. But today we are going to have fun in our craft space no matter what. The ABC or the hashtag ABC April 2025 letter of the day today is the letter H. So what have I chosen for today? I've chosen haiku. A typical haiku, based on the definition from Encyclopedia Britannica, is a Japanese three-line poem that has each line being a certain number of syllables. And how it works is the first line's 5 syllables, the second line 7 syllables, and the third line is 5 syllables. Now, a couple of years ago, I saw a spin on the haiku idea, and it was called zip code haiku. And what they wanted you to do was take your zip code and break it down. Like my zip code is 27253. So I wrote that down the side of a page with one number per line. And then you develop a poem based on using that number of words per line. So I'm using 2 words, 7 words, and so on. So what I did is the first poem that I developed quite a number of years ago when I first saw that concept is this one. It says, I am more than others told me, just right. Even if you say otherwise, I am enough. And then this morning, I was thinking about a few others, and I come up with a couple other versions. My second one is, have joy. Let your soul experience an uplifted spirit. Proclaim loudly, my soul is freely expressing, joy is mine. And then the last one that I come up with was, daylight comes. It streams softly through my open window, warms me, my body and my mood. Go enjoy. So what I wanted to do is invite you today to join along and make some sort of, tags, pockets, journal cards, whatever you want. Make something for your journal projects, even, a cover, whole journal if you want, that plays along with this zip code haiku idea. Now, I haven't really thought about what I would do for those in countries that have letters in there. I don't know if you can take the letters out and just go with the numbers. I guess think about a way to do it where you can join in the process and do the zip code haiku, or those of you that have those type of different zip codes, maybe you want to do a traditional haiku. Anyway, I think it would be a lot of fun to see what others come up with that says what they want to say. It doesn't have to be spiritual, uplifting. It can be anything you want it to be. It can be fun. It can be silly. It can be spiritual and uplifting if you want it to be. So I think today I'm going to work with some index cards and I have some clear gesso here, but I'm going to take my clear gesso and paint over some index cards so that whatever medium I choose to use on the cards doesn't soak in and really cause problems with the cards. Sometimes, if I opt to use paints or whatever, that could mess up the card. But I want to get some clear gesso on and use that as a starting point and then I haven't really figured out what I want these to be, but we'll come up with something. So if you would, join along. Like I said, you can do either the zip code version, which is a sort of a spin on it, or you can do a traditional 3-line Japanese haiku with the 5, 7, and 5 syllables. Okay, we got that shook up a little bit. I am going to take now and just put doesn't have to be a crazy coating, but put a coating of gesso on some of these cards so it has a chance to start to dry, and then we'll think about what we want to do for the artwork portion of these. Obviously, I'm going to be writing the haiku on. So what is your idea today for the letter of the day, H? It'll be interesting to see. It is a hard one. You can definitely use the prompts they have I looked at them this morning and I was sitting here thinking and looking through a little bit of my stuff. You know, sometimes I use a prompt, sometimes I want something, you know, different. So I was thinking about it and I happened to spot I've had my little first haiku poem laying up on my monitor stand for years now. Every once in a while I'll take it down and look at it to remind me to keep my chin up. And, you know, I just happened to spot it and thought, you know, that is a great thing for a day like today where we need a letter H prompt. So I think what I'll do is, you know, in the effort to not bore you, I am going to do one more card. I think I make one card per haiku. And let me get this one painted. I'll do it off screen and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I got my 3 cards painted. I got my gesso part cleaned up, the brush washed, everything put away, and then dug out. This is a Deco Color acrylic pen, paint pen. We'll see how it works. My thought was maybe try something sort of, I've got this stencil here and I may end up drawing the lines on. You know how some of those things have like wavy lines and stuff, you know, just written in different ways. I thought I might try that and we'll see. This isn't going to be as light as I wanted, but I guess we'll just go with it. Let's see what we come up with. Try to make it a little more visually interesting, I guess. So how are you guys doing today? Like I said, it's a beautiful day here. You know, it's something I definitely can't complain. It's so nice seeing that sun out. You know, it's not as warm as it could be, but I'll definitely take the sunshine over the rain. It definitely makes me feel better, I know that. So I was thinking, I don't know if I should write it in pencil first or just I guess I could do that and always erase it. And worst comes to worst, this is just paper. I've got plenty of journal cards. I could go ahead and hopefully not go through all 3 just for the first one. But I thought what I'll do is use my first haiku that I wrote and do that one first and then work through the others. Probably won't have time to do, you know, the 3 today. I'll probably just do one with you today and then the others off screen on my own time so that this isn't a crazy long video, but I did want to go through one of these with you. So again, I'm going to write this out. I am more than others told me. Let's see, this should be just right. Even if you say Oops. I gotta get my eraser out. That'll probably mess that one up, but oh well. This is a fun day. I may have to go over that part with some white gesso. I'll just get the writing in for now. There. So other than that little faux pas there, I think I am going to go ahead and, I don't know if this one shakes it. Shake up, shake up. There's the ball. So I'll give it a little shake. Sorry about the sound. Like I said, it'll be fun to see if others play along with this, what they come up with as their haiku. It's always interesting to see others take on the art, their ideas. And quite honestly, even if they don't play along, it'll be interesting to see what others come up with for today's letter of the day, H. It's been fun watching so many videos. You know, obviously, I can't keep up with them all because there's so many, but it's been fun seeing some new creators and, you know, their ideas, their ways of interpreting this form of art, and, you know, how they have fun, whether it be simple and elegant. I saw one last night that was a little wild and crazy. She was you could tell had a ton of fun in her workspace, and you know, it was, with me, I try to clean up after each step because, you know, having a limited space to work in, it gets tight, and having those piles around me brings on some anxiety. So I try to keep each step cleaned up, even though, you know, that's not the fun, that's not the fun part, but this will definitely need some fixes to it. Give me just a second here. Sorry for not chit-chatting. Getting myself stuck to it. Definitely makes for an interesting experience. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun seeing the creative ideas that everybody comes up with, not only in their style of artwork, but in their interpretation on the letters, whether they be, you know, using the prompts that were given, or if they're going ahead and doing them sort of free spirit on their own without using the prompts. It's been a lot of fun. And like I said, it's been a lot of fun too, getting to experience new people that I normally wouldn't have come across in my feed, even though my feed does do things that, you know, I should see. Let's see, what do we want to do? I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do all this in just paint pens. I do have a gold one here. Wonder if that would go over some of these lines. If I was able to. You know, it doesn't really hide it. It almost accentuates it, but I guess we can start with those. Oops. I think I might just make this sort of like, for now, abstract art. I'm not expecting this to be a great looker by the time I'm done, but I thought what I might do is maybe make this one a little abstract, and I can always go back and add things in. Make this almost like leaves, maybe. I can always add things in or even redo this with something else if I want down the road. And I guess these leaves in between some of these words will help define that there is a separation there. So if you would, let me play a little with mulling around what decorations I want. We'll see what I come up with. That's green. I do have some things over here that I die cut. Just with, or not die cut, that I use punches on in different shapes. I gotta get the big stuff out of the way, and then I can get to the smaller stuff down then. So I could, for example, use some of those and come up with something for the centers of them. Or I did have from earlier in the week, I had some of those, or last week I guess it was, some of those labels that I stamped out that I could possibly pick something out as like a center, maybe, like if I chose to use flowers on these. That's going to be a little big. I had a variety of sizes of the circles. Seemed like the thinner ones, if I remember right, were a little bit smaller. I think a good idea for this I Am Enough is maybe take and put something like this on to point out the fact that yes, I am enough. No matter what you say about me, I know that I am enough. I don't have the right and left hands in those, but I don't really want to use anything in the center there with text. I could do something like this. That might work for that one. Now I'd have to come up with another one for up here. So what are you guys up to today? What's your weather like where you're at? I told you ours is looking to be a pretty spectacular day today. So I was just curious what yours is looking like. Let me take on this since I'm using gold. I use the edge of this too. Will that highlight that much? No, it's not showing up. I might have to use the black to highlight the edge of it. And I saw this trick the other day. One of the newer channels that I had watched. Oh, that's silver. That's not black, silly. One of the newer channels that I had watched had a trick that said if you're going to, if you don't have a ink pad and want a somewhat inked look, to come from the back side, so that if your pen or whatever you're using happens to miss and slide, it's on the back side of whatever you're sort of mimic inking. And that made sense to me because I think she actually did it by accident. But it does, you know, allow you to have a real fine line inked edge. Just probably isn't the best thing to use to ink it with. A paint pen probably isn't the best thing, but my daughter has hawked all the Sharpie markers, so I no longer have those in my drawer. She's really good about taking off with my art supplies, and then I find them in her room or on the floor. She's not very, I do get after her, but she's not very good at taking care of the art supplies. That's why I've confiscated some of her things. Some of you may think that that's not nice, but if she's just going to waste them, you know, I'm going to take, and at times, you know, you can only have them, put them up so much, and if they're just going to waste them and you're throwing them away, that's not of any use. Where, you know, if I confiscate them, she regularly comes out and uses what I've got in my area anyway, so they end up here for her to use. There's been, you know, like I said, she had a diamond art kit from birthday a couple years ago that the little diamond beads ended up all over the floor, and she didn't want to pick them up because she just thought that was, you know, a life-ending amount of effort. She wanted the benefit of having them if Mama picked them up for her, and I got tired of picking them up, so eventually they ended up in a little jar on my desk, and that's what I use sometimes when I, say, put a butterfly on and want to use one for like the head and things like that. You know, I can use those for a tiny bit of added bling embellishment on my projects, so I do. And who knows, I may even break out one of those. I may or may not, and put them in the center of the flowers. They're not real big. They're just, you know, the small ones like they use in the diamond art. But they work well. A lot of the butterflies that I have are smaller, so they work well as, you know, adding some pizzazz to the head of those butterflies. What do you do with your kids, if you've got kids, when they don't want to take and clean up their stuff? Does it end up in the garbage, or do you... Right now our kids' rooms have been a mess, which my parents are coming, and you know, we'll probably make them clean up beforehand, but I did warn my parents that the kids' rooms are disasters, so that they're not surprised. A lot of times we'll let my parents, if my husband and I happen to, you know, like go on a date and go do a few other things and stuff like that, we're gone for, you know, 3 or 4 hours. A lot of times my parents will take it upon themselves to buckle down on the kids, and because it's someone different, you know what it's like with kids. A lot of times if it's someone different, they listen a little better. Like I get after my daughter. She loves to go visit our neighbor lady and help her with things, and you know, I get after her daughter. Why is it that you'll go help her but you won't help us? Or my daughter will ask, you know, what can I do to clean? And you suggest going to clean her room, and of course that's not the fun thing to go clean. So it never gets done. She wants to do everything else. Let me get that stuck on a little more. This needs something. I don't know if I've got any. Give me just a minute. I'm going to turn around here real quick. I've got some drawers behind me. I don't know if I've got any small birds, but I know I have some small butterflies I could use. I'm finding a variety. Maybe since I found them first, we'll go look at what butterflies we got. Ooh, this gesso's got some texture to it. It's like some grit. So it's like the stuff sticks to it. It's funny trying to use it. I think I want to go with something that's not just pink to add some extra color to this. What do you think? Think that looks a little better, adding some extra color? Like I said, it's not going to be perfect. Wondering if I should just go over these straight lines too with this gold. I got to press down on this pen to get the paint flowing. I forget to do that. I'm so used to using things like, oh shoot, like regular pen. Now I'm getting, it's like I'm getting gold distressing. That made gold go everywhere. I've got gold spots on my mat and on me, and not wanting to come out of the pen like that, but boy, it's wanting to come out otherwise. I was hoping to get this on so that it would be where I could, ugh, goodness sakes. It's almost like this pen's got a leak somewhere else other than the tip where it's, excuse me, supposed to be coming out. That'll be a mess to clean up. I've even got to start the distress on my next one. Yeah, it's leaking here at the bottom. Not wanting to come out the tip, it's wanting to come out above the tip, above the ball. That's interesting. Well, heck, this is making a mess. Oh, well. We'll figure out a way to deal with it. Trying to think, I may just take a brush and, excuse me for a minute. Dip in it and make my lines, but then also spread it out a little. Might as well spread the gold love. Maybe I can say that, here we go. The reason there's so much gold on this haiku is because this is my golden rule to remember. That no matter what others say about me, I am enough. Does that sound like a good thing? We'll just blend that out a little. Okay, I'm back. Time to continue on with decorating. Now what I've got here are some butterflies. These are some of those clear acetate type stickers that have, you know, the background that's really hard to get off. What I like to use is I've got a cutting machine, a silhouette cutting machine. And this is one of those pens with the pins in them that you can help use to weed out or pick out the little centerpieces. Well, this particular one, if you can, I don't know if you can see here, but it got bent, and that actually works really well most of the time. My daughter bent it a little more the other day. But if I lay the sticker down, and figures it's going to be a bugger today, but if I lay the sticker down on my flat surface and slide that little bit of a bend in, it picks it up pretty easy for me, where I'm not fighting it. Where if I have to do them with just my fingers, there's no way. I can't get those things off to save myself. I'm going to fold that over the back, and I'm going to have to use my bone folder and really work the edges of these down. A lot of times with these acetate stickers, if you take your bone folder and go along the edges, it doesn't hide them completely, but it does take and make the edges less noticeable on your artwork. It's not perfect, but it helps. And a lot of people will even take it. I've seen, I'm not going to do it with this, but I've seen a lot of people take these stickers to take the shine down and put like that clear gesso like I used on here, put it over top, and that helps take the shine down some. Almost looks like it took some color off. That's interesting. And let's see if we can get maybe this blue one over here somewhere. Oh, these don't slide very well because of that. It's like got a gritty texture to it. So let's see if I can get this one picked up here. Actually, I might not want to do that on there because the shiny back surface that gets thrown away would be laying right on that gritty surface and not wanting to slide very well. See that? Got that one picked up pretty good. I'll put the tip of his wing up there in between the words a little bit, so it gives him a little more space. And get the edge worked over a little bit so it's not quite as pronounced. Even with all its flaws and faux pas, it's not looking that bad. I think I can take some white acrylic paint and maybe go in around this. If not, I might actually cut this butterfly in half and use half on one end and half on the other. Because I'm not thinking, I've got a lot of butterfly action going on. So I'm thinking if I cut it in half, it makes it look like that butterfly sort of flying away. And I think I'll put it over that gold spot that we just created by accident. Once I get it picked up. I'm looking like a sparkle child myself. A little gold-plated myself. And then we'll put this other one on the other end. Once I get rid of that backing. And once that's done, I may call this one done. Again, we'll take and work that edge a little to get it to blend in a little more. Not sure if these will stick well. I think they'll stick okay. If not, you could always put, I've taken some of these acrylic stickers, if I don't feel like pulling the back off and messing with it, I've taken, and in these areas where the colored part is, you know, I've taken and put a little glue. Now you don't want to put a lot because it does really smear out on these stickers. But if you put a little glue, a little bit of your wet glue on them and stick them down, then it'll give it room, that glue room to spread out, and you can stick them on like that. I figure people aren't going to necessarily know the sticker's there, but sometimes I just don't feel like messing with pulling that back off if I don't feel like it's going to stick very well to a surface. But I think what I'm going to do on this one is I've got a little punch here with some different decorative edges on it. I think you can see that. I think I'm going to use this one with a little bump to try to make this a little more decorative. As you can see, that fluffs that up some. Do we want some ink? I think that edge looks bland. I think we'll come in with some ink. We'll be maybe a little more gentle today with that ink, not quite as overbearing as it was it yesterday? I gotta be careful because I re-inked this ink pad. So there are, if I push on it with a good amount, decent amount of force, it does get the little dauber here quite juicy. And it was showing the other day when I was doing that paper bag video. It was definitely showing up around things as quite juicy, because this particular ink is potting soil, but it's an archival ink, so it doesn't bleed away if it gets wet. And it can be a little bit lighter brown if you want it to be, like here where I went real gentle. But boy, it can really put down a dark edge too. I don't know, I don't have that scorched timber that everybody's talking about nowadays. I don't have that, but this can give you that burnt effect too, if you want it to. If you put it on pretty heavy, it can give you that burned look along the edges of your paper. So there's that. I don't know, I'm not completely satisfied with it. I think what's throwing me off is the white. And again, I got to go back in and pull that out and fix it some. But as a start, and I'm going to put, I think, another flower. I want to find a small flower of some sort to maybe put in this spot here where the gold blobbed out. So I'm going to continue to play with this. I'll play with it a little off camera, and I think I'm going to work on these. I might work on these other couple haikus and see what I can come up with for them. These are more like artistic journaling spots. I don't want it to be just the text. These are going to be, I think, come off as a little more artistic versions, but they're fun versions. And I think it's a way where if you do take a positive spin on your haiku, it's a way of reinforcing in yourself, good things. So I just wanted to come on, give my idea of the day, the zip code haiku. You could do a regular haiku too, but haiku is my letter of the day for today, for letter H. Join with me in this challenge, and I want to see what you guys come up with as your haikus. I look forward to seeing your videos, your pictures on Instagram, even your comments below on what you come up with. And remember, Fibro friends and warriors, that you're not in this alone. I'm here with you, and I'm here for you. You guys have a great day today, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.